Good afternoon, class. Everybody ready? All right, so let us begin pay homage to the Triple Gem together. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi Sawakhato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Saṅkho Saṅghang Namami Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Buddhang Dhammang Sanghang Gunatarang Upachayang Namasami. Okay, welcome everyone. So the our history of the life of the Buddha class. So this week we're going to continue the next chapter. I hope you enjoy the last week class studying with Ajahn Pisit giving your class lecture. So last week I was a little bit busy with taking care of the meditation class. So again, we're going to have a couple more weeks to finish all the chapter. So this week we are now we reached the chapter 8. So last week is chapter 7. So let us begin, maybe recap and review about the last section. Chapter. So let me share the slide. Okay. So how many of us today? There are 11, 10 people. All right, so okay, how many 10? We have ได้หลวงนมัสการหลวงพี่วรวุฒิหลวงพี่อารันหลวงพี่ปราดล and หลวงพี่เลียวand we have bye share
BB chair.
BB share. Thank you. I always mispronounce your name. Okay, thank you very much, BB share. Kim Ralen. Okay. Melissa Chang. And we have หลวงพี่ Kevin. Oh Young One. And we have Sandra Gomez, Sittikan Spencer, and Yomun. Okay, so we in this elementary level, actually, we can we're not having we're not diving into pretty much detail, each one. You see, according to the elementary level, it just covered the overall concept about the history of the Buddha. So there might be some point that we just skip in detail. And because we have maybe in this course, take around 2 months or more to discover this part. So totally for this curriculum, we have totally around maybe 12 chapter. And this week we read the chapter 8. And last week, chapter 7. It talked about the last time, chapter 7 is talk about when the Buddha went to instruct the Yasa, right? Yasa, the wealthy man who was the son of the millionaire. So, and also one very important point that it's a way, it's the beginning of promoting the teaching. And after he achieved enlightenment, and he started to collect his disciple and to help propagate the teaching. So let's take a look, maybe spend short time to recap the last class. So so last previous class, so they talk about the instruction to Yasa, and then the teaching that is taught, or the topic, the Dharma, the sermon that's the Buddha preached to or instructs the Yasa. It's called Anupuppikata. And the first male, the devotee, and the first male devotee, female devotee, and the Yasa friend that ordained and follow him. And that's become, and the Buddha, he collect maybe 60 of his disciples, including him, totally 61 Buddhist monk at the time. So, and he also allow the ordination. So we call this kind of ordination called papacha. It's called the threefold declaration of taking refuge. And the 30 rich young companion who are searching for the lady that's stole their belonging. And also Buddha went to preach the Jatila, the three Jatila brothers, who are very respected by the people and king in Bimbisara, the kingdom. So this is maybe a question. Maybe can you help answer this question? What is the name of the sermon of the Lord Buddha gave to Yasa? So Anupuppikata, right? Anupuppikata. So what Anupuppikata talk about? Okay, so anybody can maybe share with us a review that you studied last week. หลวงพี่หลวงพี่อลันหลวงพี่ Brother หลวงพี่ Leo, can you share with us or what's Anupippikatha that's mentioned about what the Buddha, what is the point, the main point of teaching to the Yasa?
I think to devote the Zen treasure.
Yes.
Think about like the benefit of dana, benefit of sila,
Mhm.
and the heaven is real.
Mhm.
I'm not sure like the hell is real or not, but another thing is you will suffering from what you don't get, something like
Ah,
that.
all right. Okay, thank you. Any other who would like to share that you learned from Ajahn Prisi last week? So there are around 5 points, right? From 5 different points. And what Long P Leo mentioned is about Thana, Sila, and about the so, the advantage of sensual pleasure and disadvantage of sensual pleasure, and maybe the last one is going to be the benefit of going forward or becoming we call nekama, so becoming ordained. So not sure, maybe we can take a look at that in this part. And who are the first male and female devotee of Buddhism? Okay. So according to the previous class, okay. So
นมั
what
สการค่ะ
happened?
หลวงพี่
Okay.
The first male devotee for Triple Gem is Yasa father, and the female is both Yasa's mother and ex-wife.
Excellent. Thank you. So that is the first male and female devotee of Buddhism, taking refuge, three triple gem. Though previously there's two merchants, right, who take refuge as two, Buddha and Dhamma. At that time there's no Sangha yet. So that's why the Yasa mother and Yasa ex-wife are considered as first female devotee of Buddhism, and his father are considered as the first male devotee. So let's take recap a little bit about the story about 3 Jali, Jadila, Chalin. In Thai, we usually call Chalin, the 3 Jali Jadila brother. Who are they? So why they are called Jadila? And does anybody give any ideas from the previous class?
They are the Kassapa brothers with 1,000 disciples. They worship the fire.
So they worship the fire, right?
Yes.
And worship the fire, and Jatila is a kind of we call the hermits. It's kind of like they're worshiping to the fire. Okay. So what about their name? The first, there's the 3, right? So the first one named Uru, is that right? Uru Vela Kassapa. And the brother, Natti Kassapa. And the third brother, Kaya Kassapa. So it is mentioned that Ulu Vela Kassapa, and he has how many disciples did he have? He had 1,000, right? He had
1,000 in total.
1,000 disciples. Natti Kassapa, how many disciples does he have?
300.
300 or 500?
500 is Uruvela, and then 300 is Natti Kassapa, and Kaya Kassapa have 200.
Are you sure?
That's what Kim read.
So the the older brother, Uluwela Kassapa, has 1,000, 1,000 follower, 1,000 disciple, and Natti Kassapa, the younger brother, so has 500 disciple, and the little brother Kaya Kassapa have 300 disciple. So what happened when the Buddha went there? And who the Buddha went to visit first? Anybody know? The Buddha went to visit Uru or Natti?
Uruwela,
The big
the
brother,
first
right?
one. Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
And so he went to visit to preach the Uluwela Kassapa first. So it is said that at that time, these three schools, these three Jatila, were very respected by the king and the merchant and peoples and in the clan, So even King Bimbisara also respect this Jatila. So the Buddha went there. The Buddha went there in order to to preach. And Uluwela Kassapa just so stubborn that he do not like to accept that the Buddha is the enlightened one. Even though he shows the quality of Alhanda, he shows his psychic power, right? And one of the important we call supernatural power that the Buddha showed to the Uluwela Kassapa is to overcome the serpent snake, right? The Naga. So, but at the end, the Buddha also able to convince the Uluwela Kassapa to give up his thought that he's the Alahanda. He thought that he's the Alahanda. So at first he thought that, even though Buddha, he have the different kind of ability, the Deva, the many different kind of we call Deva king, Saka Deva, and the king of the realm of Dawadingsa came to respect him. But he also didn't want to accept that the Buddha, he is the enlightened one. So at the end, finally, the Buddha just told the Uluwela Kassapa that you should give up your view that you are the Alahanda. You are not. You are teaching. What you understand is not substance. And finally, he gave up and become and asked the Buddha to ordain as monk. So, and when Uluwela Kassapa decided to ordain, and his follower also follow and become ordained, and they shaved their hair and they took off their clothes and wear a yellow robe and float, right? And they throw the hairs and robes through along the river. So and when the robe, when the clothes and hair float down to where the Natti Kassapa resident, when they stay, they saw that, there might be something wrong with my brother. Maybe there might be something danger happened to my brother. So Natti Kassapa just like went off to the going up to the river and found that his brother becomes a Buddhist monk. And then the Natti Kassapa also ordained and followed the Buddha. And next again, Kaya Kassapa, seeing the same case, that seeing the clothes and hair, the flowing, the river, and again thought that, oh, there might be something wrong, something danger that happened to my and to older brother. And when and he came to realize that both of his older brother became the Buddhist monk and became the Buddha follower, and then he also followed the Buddha. Now, how many? The question is how many followers the Buddha have at this at this point, at this moment. Okay, who's good at math? Can you calculate how many disciples the Buddha already have? So in here, right? Ulu Vela Kassapa, Ulu Vela Kassapa, Nati Kassapa, and Kayasa Kassapa. There are 1,000. So there's already 1,000 follower, right? And Nati Kassapa, they're 500. They're 500. And Kayaka is about 300. 300 followers. And before, how many followers the Buddha have? The five Panchavakkhya, right? The 5 Panchavakkhya, Panchavakkhya, and the 5 Panchavakkhya, and who else? And after 5 Panchavakkhya, the Buddha went to priest Yasa, right? Yasa 1. Okay. And his friend. How many of his friends?
61.
Pardon?
61 maybe, or 51.
54.
54.
54,
Yes,
right?
friend.
Yes, our
Okay.
friend is 54. Yeah? 54. No. 5, 1 now. This side is 60, right? 60. And what about the group of the men who looking for the lady that took their belonging? And the Buddha asked that then they asked the Buddha, we are looking for the lady. So then do you have you seen the lady passing this way? And then the Buddha replying them that's don't you want to looking for yourself instead of looking for others? So that's a kind of replying means those men, group of those men. How many of that group of those men?
30.
The men 30, right? Okay, the 30. All of this 60, and includes that's a Manov, 30 Manov. How many is already? Now there's 30, right? It's 90, 90 follower. And he sent this 90 follower to propagate the teaching, right? So he mentioned that don't go the same way. So just spread and go a different direction and to teach and to the people, right? So then the Buddha came to Uruvela, Senanikkama, and also collect the other here. The total 1,800, right? Follower. Then plus 90. How many did he have now? Now there are 1,890 followers, right? Include him 91. So, and that is and how he start to have collecting the follower from a different way that he traveled. So let's talk a little bit about the Anupuppikatha. Anupuppikatha is usually taught and preached by the Buddha when he instructs the layman. It starts from like a Dhanakatha. Dhanakatha is talking about the benefits of giving. You talk about the giving and learn how to let go of the stinginess, learning like how to give. And another point of this kata that the Buddha taught to Yasa, right? So Yasa, he lived his life the Buddha. So his life similar to the Buddha. He was a wealthy man. He was born in a millionaire family. So one day he felt bored just seeing that all the ladies, the dancer in his place came up as a graveyard. So, and then he just leave his place and exclaim along the way that he go. That's oh, this place is so distressed, it's so danger. And then he came across the Buddha walking the meditation at that time. And the Buddha just answered, here is not distress, it's not danger. Come. So then the Buddha started to preach or instruct the Yasa, this Anupuppikatha. And the second is about Sila. Sila or morality, and talking about the benefits of righteousness, morality. And continuously, and he also talked about the Sakkakatha, talk on heavenly pleasure. So this is the ultimate, we call the ultimate happiness in the heaven. And ultimately, ultimate pleasure in the heaven. And for this Kamma Tina Wakatha, talking about the disadvantage of sensual pleasure. And that's mentioned that there also not only the positive side of the sensual pleasure, but also there's the disadvantage. Even though those heavenly pleasure, it gives the pleasure, but it's also under the law of impermanence. So when it's subject to change, so even the sensual pleasure in the heaven also considered as a suffering. And the last main idea of Anupuppikatha is called Nekkamma Nisamsa Katha. So this the Buddha point out to the benefits or the advantage or benefits of renouncing sensual pleasure. And so like giving up the benefit of giving up the sensual pleasure, and one become ordained or stay far away from sensual pleasure, one will reach to another kind of happiness, like a peaceful of mind. So that is the main idea, and that's mentioned in the Anupuppikatha. So you can read these kata in detail. This is very, very effective and very powerful, to learn to cultivate the Dharma from easy to easy to something that finer and finer. So start from dana is about letting go of that stinginess, and cultivating morality, and considering it about the heavenly pleasure, and to avoiding from addicting in the sensual pleasure. The Buddha also mentioned about the disadvantage. Now, one approach to the sensual pleasure, how can one be mindful on having such a sensual pleasure or worldly happiness? Yeah. And it is after that he collected some of the disciple. So he said, "Go ye now, O bhikkhu, and wander for the gain of the many, for the welfare of the many, out of the compassion for the world, for the good, for the gain, and for the welfare of God and men." So this is he mentioned he addressed to the monk and bhikkhu. So after he traveled to the Uluwela Kassapa and preached the three Jatila. All right, so maybe let's take a short review. Maybe some of you may have some information before we move on to the next chapter. What is the name of the first monastery in Buddhism? Okay, anyone anyone would like to share to this question?
Bamboo Grove.
Excuse me?
Bamboo Grove.
Bamboo.
Bamboo Grove. The Bimbisara offer Bamboo Grove to the Buddha.
Yes, yes. And what is the name of that bamboo forest? No? It starts with V. I got some clue for you. No? Start with V.
Veluwana.
Veruwana.
Veruwana. That's correct. No? Now, it's a bamboo park, right? So that is going to be in this chapter. Now we're going to explore, and after the Buddha, he travels and start to preach the people. Okay, we got one. Who is the donor of the first monastery?
King Bimbisara.
As Kim Ma said, no? So the king Bimbisara, no? King Bimbisara. So at that time, the Buddha reside or stay at the Rajagaha city. That's ruled by King Bimbisara. So at the Makata clan or Makata legend. So it's why he have his chief disciple. Who are the two chief disciples of the Buddha? Okay. Who are they? The chief disciple on the right and on the left. Who is on the right hand? Who is on the left hand?
On the right is Sariputta. On the left is Moggallana.
Moggallana. All right. And what are the two chief disciples foremost of? Okay, so what's Moggallana and Sariputta foremost of? Almost like what they are excellent of, and why the Buddha like consider and admire them to be the chief. Anybody have answers to this question? Sariputta foremost in
Sariputta foremost in wisdom.
Wisdom. Yes.
Moggallana foremost in supernatural power.
Supernatural power or psychic power, right?
Yes.
So this is about the maybe text a little bit pre-test about our today's chapter, chapter 8. So the situation happened when the Buddha went to Rajagaha city. So this is the point that we're going to be exploring to this chapter, Bimbisara and 12 myriad, a group of the loyal follower of Bimbisara. They are like prominence or like spiritual leader and householder or loyal follower. And the second point in Makata king, Sani Bimbisara, King Bimbisara, 5 witches. And the first Buddhist monastery and the ordination of the 2 chief disciples, Sariputta and Moggallana. And the 2 chief disciples were enlightened. All right, so the 5 witches of King Bimbisara, when the Buddha traveled and arrive at the King the Makata legend, and then he heard that the Buddhas arrived at his clan. Then King Bimbisara with his follower, go and pay respect to the Buddha. Then at that time, the people saw, like peoples around there didn't know that this is the enlightened Buddha, and they just treat and the Buddha in different manner. So the follower of the King Bimbisara and like have a different way and to show the manner to the Buddha. And some group pay homage. Some made speech and some just talk, and some just press the palm and their hand together into their chest. And some told their own name and their family name. And some just keep silent and just didn't talk. And they when the Buddha realized just a manner, to calm down the clown, to listen to his sermon or teaching. So then people just don't know the Buddha or Uluwela Kassapa, who is who greater than one another. So people in the city, they just respect the Uluwela Kassapa as their spiritual leader, but they don't know who is the Buddha, who is greater than one another. Then the Uluwela Kassapa, the Jalira, the big brother, just stood up and clothed with one side of shoulder opening. He wear the robe and put his head at the Buddha feet. He's bowed down to the Buddha feet and said, "You are my master. I am your disciple following your teaching." And then he announced that this to his follower, that his doctrine is not substance. His follower hereby modestly believe in the Buddha and intentionally listen to the Buddha teaching. So some source mentioned that Uluwela Kassapa, he had a supernatural power. He can fly to the sky or something. So some mentioned that he fly up to the sky and come back down and bow down to the Buddha and put his head and touch on the feet of the Buddha to show that this is my master. So now the people know that the Buddha is greater than him, and people just like give their intention to listen to the teaching. Then again, the Buddha gave the same sermon, the same teaching that he taught to Yasa, that is Anupuppikata, and followed by the 4 noble truths. And the King Bimbisara and follower and people have around 11 parts of them. They got the eye of wisdom, who got the eyes of, we call, achieving the Sotapanna, the first level of enlightenment. So, and the rest, also took Triple Gem as their refuge. To took the Trisarana, the Triple Gem, Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha as their refuge. Then when before this situation happened, King Bimbisara, he used to made 5 witches of that there are 5 things. That's may I get coronation and the king of Makata land. May the one who is Alahanda rightly self-awakened come to my Makata legend. May I come to sit near him or near Arahanda. May the Arahanda please me, and may I realize the Dharma of the Arahanda. So this is the 5 witches of the King Bimbisara. So now all of his wishes came to be complete. So he informed to the Buddha. Now, in the sutra I mentioned, so in former day, Lord, when I was a prince, I wish, oh, that I might be regarded as a king. This was my first wish. Lord, this is fulfilled now. And might then the Holy Absolute, some Buddha come to my kingdom. This was my second wish. Lord, this is fulfilled now. And might I pay my respect to him, the Blessed One, and this was my third wish, Lord. This is fulfilled now. And might he, the Blessed One, please fulfill now. And might I understand his, the Blessed One doctrine. This was my 5th wish. Lord, this is fulfilled now. So these were the 5 which, Lord, which I entertained in former day when I was a prince. These are fulfilled now. So this is the 5 wishes of the King Bimbisara to waiting for the Buddha to achieve enlightenment. And this is the Buddha also to fulfill the promise that he made to the King Bimbisara, that once he declared that once you achieve enlightenment, and come and teach me. So when he seeking for the way to achieve enlightenment. So, and next point of this situation, at that moment after the King Bimbisara came to pay homage and respect and listen to the teaching, and the King Bimbisara invited the Buddha and the monk to receive the food offering. And said that the Blessed One went to the palace of Makata. Makata King Bimbisara, having gone there, he sat down with the bhikkhu who followed him on seat laid out for them. Then the Makata King Bimbisara with his own hand served and offered excellent food, both hard and soft, and to fraternity of bhikkhu with the Buddha at its head. And when the Blessed One had finished his meal and cleaned his bowl and his hand, he sat down near him. Sitting near him, the Makata King, Sanya Bimbisara, thought, where may I find a place for the Blessed One to live in, not too far from the town, and not too near, suitable for going and coming, easy, accessible for all people who want to see him. By day, not too crowded, and at night, not exposed to much noise and alarm, clean of the smell of people, hidden from men well fitted for a retired life. Yeah. So go back to the offering food of the King Bimbisara. No, so when the King Bimbisara addressed that he would like to offer the Buddha food, So by accepting the food, so the Buddha just kept silent. So this is a tradition that have been following since the Buddha time. When the Buddhist monk accept anything, and so if this is if you maybe going or maybe offer anything to the Buddhist monk, So if monk keeps silent, that means he already accepts. So the Buddha, this kind of tradition is practiced in the Buddha time. The Buddha just remained silent. So when the King Bimbisara wished to offer him food, and the next day the Buddha went there and received the offering from the king. Okay, so and here from this Sutta, after the King Bimbisara considering that he would like to offer a place, and for the Buddha to stay, so looking for a suitable place, to stay or resign, and the king Bimbisara thought that there is the Veluvana, which is mean bamboo park, my pleasure garden, which is not too far from the town and not too near, suitable for going and coming down to a retired life. What if I were to make an offering of the Veluvana pleasure garden to the fraternity of Bhikkhu, with the Buddha at his head? And then the King Bimbisara, he took a golden vessel. So like you mentioned that it's a kind of a vessel we call, and he poured the water over the Buddha hand, and dedicate the Veluvana to the Blessed One. And said, I gave up this Veluvana pleasure garden, Lord, to the fraternity of Bhikkhu, a group of the Bhikkhu, with the Buddha at its head. And the Blessed One accepted the Arama. Arama is mean park or the monastery boundary. Then the Blessed One, after having taught, incited, animated, and garden, the Magadha King Bimbisara, by religious discourse, rose from his seat and went away. And in a consequence of this event, the Blessed One, after having delivered the religious discourse, thus addressed to the monk, Bhikkhu, that I allow the old Bhikkhu to receive the donation from Arama or park. So that is the first time the Buddha allowed the donation from allowed to receive the park. So that is one of the important events that happened in the Magadha. So at the Magadha legend, and another important incident that happened at the Magadha legend, and that is the arising of the true chief disciple, the ordination of Sariputta and Moggallana. So Sariputta and Moggallana, so their formal name, they're the name that's usually known as Upatissa. Sariputta but Sariputra is the name of his mother. So his mother Sariputra is mean the son of Sali, who is the name of his mother. So their original name, Sariputra, is called Upatissa, and Moggallana, it's called Kolita. And before they becoming the monk. So it's mentioned that at the time of Sanchaya. Sanchaya is one of the we call wandering ascetic. There's a 6 different school. Sanchaya is one of the school that also promotes his own philosophy. So we call the wandering ascetic as Paripajaka or Paripachok, Paripajaka is a wandering ascetic. So before he became, they both became follow the Sanchaya or become a wandering ascetic. So there's one time they went to we call to join to see the we call the play. They went to see the play and having and enjoying with the play. But one day both close friend Upatissa and Kolita thought that all of these singer, all of this player, and one day they're going to get old and not more than 100 years. Their beauty, their youth will be gone. So shall we looking for something more sane, that's reliable in this life? So thinking that they both make an agreement that if anyone who discover or found the way to end the suffering, or found the truth, so may come back and tell one another. So at that time, one day, the Asachi is one of the 5 ascetic. Do you remember the 5 ascetic? There is a Godanya, Vapapatiya, Mahanama, and the last one is Asachi. So he, at that time, he go to alms round in the city of Rajagaha and to receive food and offering. So Sariputra, Sariputra saw him and respectable manner, seeing that have a very respectable manner. So he followed Achachi and went to see him after his coming back from receiving food and offering. And he asked him, "Who is your teacher?" So he's very admired the manner that's of the Achachi. Whose Dhamma, who do you like? It was answered. So by the Asachi, that's the prince. The prince of Sakaya, who left Sakaya family and become Samana, is my teacher, and I like his Dhamma. Then Sariputra asked, "What was your teacher teaching?" Then the Achachi answered that whatever condition arrived from course, the Buddha revealed the cause of that condition. And the Buddha said just a thing. So after Sariputra listened to the Dhamma, so very, very short Dhamma. So he got the eye of wisdom, attained the Sotapanna, is the first level of enlightenment. And he immediately knew that the Buddha taught to practice for cessation of cause of suffering. And after having the eye of wisdom and he asked about the place where the Buddha lived, and he asked the Achachi that where venerable where your teacher live, and Achachi answered that he lived in Veluvana. So then Salibuddha said that if so, let you go first. I will go back to tell my friend and take him to see the Buddha. Now here the Sutta mentioned that at that time Sanchaya, Lajjaka with the great retinues of Palipajaka with 250. So Sanchaya, where Salibuddha and Moggallana went to study with. So they had a 250 follower. Palipajaka is the wandering ascetic who were the Sanchaya follower. At that time, Salibuddha and Moggallana led religious life as follower of Sanchaya. Now they're helping the Sanchaya to run the school. And to teach the other disciple. And they has given words to each other that he who first attend to immortal shall tell the other one. So that is the agreement and the promise that they made to one another. So now one day the Venerable Asachi in the full moon, having put on his robe and having taken his ambo, and with his jivara, jivan, entered the city of Lajjakaha for alms. He's walking, turning back, regarding, looking, drawing his arm back, and stretching out was decorous. He turned his eye to the ground and was dignified in deportment. Now the Palipajaka Salibuddha saw the Venerable Asachi, who went through Lajjakaha for alms, whose walking was decorous, who kept his eye on the ground and was dignified in the deportment, seeing him, and then he thought that indeed this person is one of those people who are the worthy one, Arahat, in the world, or who have entered the path of Arahantship. What if I were to approach this bhikkhu and ask him? So this is the conversation between the Asachi and Salibuddha in the sutra. So in whose name, friend, have you retired from the world? Who is your teacher? Whose doctrine do you profess? There is friend, the great Samana Sakaya Buddha, an ascetic of Sakaya tribe. In his blessed one name have I retired from the world. He, the blessed one, is my teacher, and the blessed one doctrine do I profess. And what is the doctrine, sir, which your teacher hold and preach to you? I am only a young man disciple, friend. I have but recently received the ordination, and I have newly adopted his doctrine and discipline. I cannot explain to you the doctrine in detail, but I will tell you in short what it means. So, and this is the next the continuation of the conversation. That's the Asachi state, the Dharma that's taught by the Buddha. So, well, friend, tell me much more, much or little as you like, but be sure to tell me the spirit or the truth of the doctrine I want. But the spirit, why do you take so much of the letter? So just a little bit is okay. So just tell me the Dharma. Then the Venerable Asachi pronounced to the Salibuddha, following the text of Dharma, said that of all objects which proceed from a cause, the Tathagata, the Buddha, has explained the cause, and he has explained their cessation also. This is the doctrine of the great Samana. So in this point, just heard about this sentence, So the Sariputta awake, just heard this kind of this teaching, And then the Sariputta, after having heard this text, obtain and the pure and spotless eyes of the truth, that is the following knowledge. Whatsoever is subject to condition of origination is subject also to condition of cessation. And then he said, if this alone be the doctrine, the Dharma, now you have reached up to the state where all sorrow sheds, nirvana, and the state which has remained unseen through many myriads of kappa, to end the suffering of the past. And then the Sariputta went to the place where the Moggallana was, and he went there and invite and told the Moggallana that he have found the Alahanda and the teacher, and he said that your countenance, friend, is serene, your complexion is pure and bright. Have you then really reached immortal, friend? Then Sariputta replied, yes, friend, I have attained to the immortal, and how? And the Moggallana questioned, and how, friend, have you done so? So going back to see Moggallana, so Moggallana saw that, oh, his friend looked so serene, and so he's very pure and look very bright. He just asked it, so you must have gained. He's just curious. Maybe his friend must gain some maybe Dharma quality, and he asked for, now what did you learn? What did you heard from the teaching? And Sariputta also repeats the same teaching, the same sermon that Asachi had told him, and said, I saw a friend, the Bhikkhu Asachi, who went through Rajagaha for alms, but I will tell you a short what this means. Then the Moggallana said, tell me much more little as you like, but be sure to tell me the spirited doctrine. And I want, but the spirit, why do you make so much of the letter? And Sariputta said, then friend, the Bhikkhu Asachi pronounced the following Dhamma sentence. Said, of all objects which proceed from a cause, the Tathagata has explained the cause, and he has explained their cessation also. This is the doctrine of the great Samana. So they have never seen the Buddha. So they haven't met the Buddha yet, but just hearing the Dharma. But that Dharma can let them to have the eyes of wisdom to attain the Sotapada. After heard this sentence that's told by the Asachi, both of them just have the eyes of wisdom, and together go to leave their formal teacher, that is Sanchaya. Then in the sutra I mentioned that the Moggallana and Sariputta said that let's go, friend, and join the Blessed One, and that he and the Blessed One may be our teacher. It is on our account, friend, that these 250 disciples of Palipajaka live here as follower of Sanchaya, and it is we whom they regard. Let us first inform them also of our intention, then they may do what they think fits. And then Sariputra and Moggallana went to the those Pajaka where they're living, and having approached them, and they said to all the disciple in the school, friend, we are going to join the Blessed One, join the Buddha, that the Blessed One may be our teacher. Then the other the disciple in the school mentioned, it's on your account, sir, that we live here, and it's your whom we regard. If you, sir, are about to place yourself under the spiritual direction of the great Samana, we all will place ourselves also under the spiritual direction of the great Samana. It means that the other follower, the other student also will go with them if they go. It just depends, okay, if you follow the Sanchaya, will go with you. If you go to follow the Buddha, will also follow you. So this is 250 students at the Sanchaya school. Then Sariputra and Moggallana went to place where the Sariputra, Sanchaya, where the Sanchaya staying. So, and they approached to him and said to Sanchaya that, friend, we are going to join the Blessed One, and that the Blessed One may be our teacher. And then Sanchaya just trying to don't want to let his disciple go, and just said, nay, friend, and do not go. Let us all three share in the leadership of this body of disciple. So it's mean that don't go. The Sanchaya just begged and asked that both of them that don't go and just stay here and to teach the other student and here together. But at the end, Sariputra and Moggallana, with the 250 follower and student, decide to leave the Sanchaya and went to the Veluvana. And again, then Sanchaya began on the spot to omit to hot blood from his mouth. It's a sort of painful feeling that his obedient student leave him, and he just have an omit hot blood from his mouth. And the Buddha once saw the Sariputra and Moggallana coming from afar. On seeing them, he then addressed to the Bhikkhu. And there, O Bhikkhu, two companions arrived, Golita and Upatissa. This will be a pair of truth pupil and most distinguished, auspicious pair. And when Sariputra and Moggallana, who had reached emancipation and have the eyes of wisdom, in the perfect destruction of the substrata of existence, which is the profound subject accessible only to knowledge, came to the Veluvana. The teacher who saw them foretold about them. The Buddha knew that they both are coming to join the Sangha, and then states these two companions who are now coming, Golita and Upatissa, and this will be a period of true pupil and more distinguished, auspicious here. And then when both of they were at where the Buddha was, and they having approached to the Buddha, and they prostrate themselves and incline their heads to the feet of the Buddha, and says to the Buddha, Lord, let us receive the Papacha. Papacha is a kind of ordination. We're going to explain this later in the next chapter. Papacha and Uposatha, ordination from the Blessed One. Then the Buddha replying, come Bhikkhu. Well taught is the doctrine, lead a holy life for the sake of the complete extinction of suffering. Mokkhalana attained Arahanta. So after ordained, that the Mokkhalana confronts the we call hindrance that's caused him to have a sloth and sleepiness, dozing. At the time, the Blessed One was living in the deer park in the Pesakala forest among the Sansumara peaks and the Banga country. At the time, Venerable Mokkhalana was dozing seated in the Kalavalaputra village in Makata. The Blessed One saw with his purifying heavenly eyes beyond human. Venerable Mokkhalana dozing seated in the Kalavalaputra village. Then he, as a strong man would stretch his bent arm or bend his stretched arm, and the Blessed One disappeared from the deer park in the Vesagala forest among the Samsumara peaks in the Banga country, and appeared before the Venerable Mokkhalana in the Kalavalaputra village in Makata. The Blessed One sat and prepared seat and sat. So at that time, the Mokkhalana, he is practicing the meditation and sheds a sloth, and those things come to distract his mind. He became so sleepy, and the Buddha advised to Mokkhalana how to overcome the sloth and that's Tofo's sleepiness. So then the Buddha taught, said, Mokkhalana, you should not abide in the perception, and the perception abiding in which you were overcome by that sluggishness or sleepiness. You should not attain and abide in that perception much. There is a possibility for that sluggishness to disappear of your abiders. Then the Buddha continued to and to consider about the teaching. So consider discriminately think of the teaching. Consider and if the sluggishness or sleepiness does not disappear, and the Buddha continues to suggest that you should, if that sluggishness does not disappear, you should recite in detail the teaching. So recite is like reciting the mantra, to repeat the teaching and consider, go forward and back, forward and back. But if the sluggishness does not disappear, and the Buddha advised him to pull both ears and rub the body with both hands. So this technique you can apply in your own meditation practice. If you feel sleepy, you feel tofu and sloth, and this is a great advice from the Buddha. So if you pull your ear already, you rub the body with both hands already, and the sloth or sluggishness not disappear yet. And the Buddha continued advice the Mokkhalana that you should get up from the seat, wash your eyes and look in the direction and should look at the constellation of star. So again, get up from the seat and wash the eyes. Look in the different direction, and should look at the constellation of star. Look in the sky and up to the star. And if the sluggishness did not disappear, and then the Buddha continued to advise Sariputta that okay, if it's not disappear, you should attain to the sign of light, attain to the perception of day as the day. So the night as the night, so the day. So like imagine, so like attain the sign of light, and attain the perception of day. If at night you can imagine like oh, this is day, by visualizing that's a night is a day, to brighten the mind. And if the sluggishness does not disappear, the Buddha also continued to advise that you should determine a walk perceiving the start and the end with the mental faculty and the mental faculty turn inwards and mind not allow to wander. So I determine a walk perceiving the start. The mental faculty about turn to inwards, and trying to keep the mind, not to let the mind wander. And if the sluggishness not disappear yet, so he continued to advise, and the last advice that's if it's not disappear, you should turn to the right side. Turn to the right side in making the right on posture. The right on posture is you may have seen the Buddha image in declining posture. He pressed his hand behind of his ear, and he in declining position, sleeping like a lion, and go and sleep keeping one foot over the other, and mindful of the time of rising. So at the end, if the sluggishness or sleepiness is very strong, the Buddha just advised him to go to sleep, but sleep mindfully in the lion posture. So and one wake up, just mindfully awake. Then awake quickly and get out of the bed, thinking I will not enjoy the sluggish pleasure, not to indulge with pleasure from sleeping. Then Mokkhalana, you should train this manner. And the Buddha continued to teach the Mokkhalana. I will not enter family with the glory of bhikkhu. In the family, there's various kind of work to be done. When the people come, the bhikkhu is not attended, then it's awkward to the bhikkhu who has disrupted my friendship in this family. Now these people are not admirable. That's with that loose is confused. To the confused is agitation. The agitate are not restrained. The mind of one not restrained. It's far from concentration. And continuous state, you should train in this manner. I will not enter to dispute. Disputes. One is dispute. There is much talk. When there is much talk, there is agitation. The agitated are not retrained. The mind of one not retrained is far from concentration. And do not prize or association, either do I depreciate or association. I do not approve the association between householder and those gone forth. I appreciate an abandoning of the dwelling which are noiseless, free from humans, suitable for solitude and solution. So after listen from the advice from the Buddha and the teaching and considering, so Moggallana spent 7 days of practicing to overcome his sloth and torpor, and finally his mind is relieved from the desire and become the Arahanta in 7 days. So if you have meditated, I believe that you may sometimes experience the sloth or sluggishness. So I think this is a very powerful advice from the Buddha. So while you're meditating, it's not necessary to keep, and let ourselves to fall asleep and let that a sluggishness take over the mind. And so the Buddha advise to do something, not just keep like bearing the torpors and sluggishness. So I think this is what he advised to Moggallana is very useful in the meditation practice. Okay, now the Sariputta attained Arahanta. The Sariputta spent also practicing, and so they're not the Arahanta yet. So how Sariputta attains Arahanta? Now, in Tikkanaka Sutra, the mention about the teaching that allow the Sariputta able to attain the Arahanthood. So mention that the wandering ascetic, Tikkanaka. Now, Tikkanaka is the Sariputta grandson. So at that time, he looking for his uncle, the Sariputta, and he was curious at why his uncle disappeared so long, because normally when once Sariputta went to study with any teacher, it doesn't take longer than 7 days. He just changed the teacher, and from the teacher and continue study with another teacher. And he was wondering why this time he just stayed so long. It's been almost 2 weeks. So then he looking for his aunt, and he then went to met the Buddha and Sariputta. And at that time, the Sariputta was fanning the Buddha. And when the Tikkanaka met the Buddha, they made greetings, and then he said to the Buddha, "Good Gautama, I am of this view and declares everything is not pleasing to me." Then the Buddha replied, Agivesana is the family name of Tikkanika. According to this view of yours, everything is not pleasing, not me. Is that view pleasing to you? No. So this point, what the Tikkanaka just he spoke that I don't like anything. I don't like anything. That means it include the Buddha. So it's kind of like a strong, very angry argument to the Buddha, and said that, oh, I don't like everything. And the Buddha mentioned that, all right, so you also should dislike your thought too. That's your point of view too. That you see that everything is not pleasing to you. So and this is a long conversation, and the Buddha start when the Tikanika tend to listen the Dharma, ready to listen to Dharma, and the Buddha continued to teach, and to teach. And that moment, the Sariputra fanning the Buddha, standing and fanning the Buddha, and also listen to the teaching, what the Buddha taught the Tikanika. And a part of the teaching that the Buddha taught to the Tikanika, that mentioned that Akivesana, this material body of the four primary elements, brought forth by mother and father and supported one rich and breath, is subject to change through the brushing and breaking. It should be reflected as impermanent and present, and illness and abscess and arrow and a troublesome thing, as a foreign and as breaking parts, at void and as not mine. So this means he in detail in this sutra mentioned about the theme is mentioned about the 5 aggregates, the components of the corporeality, minds and body, and leading to the 3 characteristics of impermanence, suffering, and non-self. So when the Buddha continue taught that Akivesana, these 3 are the feeling of person and person. This is a Vedana of feeling. Person, Akivesana, when the present feeling is felt, just time and present feeling, and neither impression nor present feeling is not felt. Only the present feeling is felt, Akivesana, when a present feeling is felt, at just time a present feeling, or either impression nor present feeling is not felt. And on, and still the mind of Sariputra, and he considered along with the teaching, and continuously, and that moment has allowed him to be free and understand, and he was able to let go of his own view, that attachment of his own view, and become an arahanta, release his mind from the detachment, and attachment on one own view, and he reflect to oneself that the thing does not allow him to achieve enlightenment quickly, because he's still carrying and uphold his view. All right. So this is the about this chapter. So and hopefully this is cover all the story. That's when the Buddha traveled to the Makata legend. So now time for a discussion. If you have any question, so you can share with us here. So before we continue next week for the chapter 9. All right. So anyone have a question? Okay, so Sariputra, he's excellent in wisdom later. But why Sariputra achieved enlightenment later, after Moggallana, who considered is so wise, right? Who he is foremost in wisdom, but why he take longer time on achieving the Arahanthood. For Moggallana, he took only 7 days, but Sariputra he took 2 weeks, a half month, 15 is mentioned as 15 days of attaining the Arahanthood. Anybody have any ideas why is that? So that is kind of I also curious and wonder, So in this case, so that's mean who have a lot of wisdom. So it is not guaranteed that you're going to achieve enlightenment quicker than the other. In comparing to the Sariputra, maybe he just followed the teaching, then he was able to achieve Arahanthood quicker than the Sariputra. Anyone have any ideas from this point? People love. All right. So if it's no question, so I'll wrap up our class here today, and next week we're going to have maybe a couple more weeks for the next chapter. In chapter 9, next week we're going to be exploring about the Buddha mission at Makati. We're going to be talking about the Venerable Mahakassapa. Mahakassapa and the 3 admonition of the Buddha as a Majjhima teaching, or the middle teaching of the Buddha. And we're going to be discussing about the different type of ordination in Buddhism. There's a different kind of ordination in Buddhism. So I'm not sure, there's around 8 different kind of ordination, and that's the Buddha allowed to ordain. But mainly, and that's a practice to the modern day, there are 2 main different, Bapacha and also Upasambot, for a novice and for the monk. And we are also going to be discussing about the 6 direction, that the Buddha taught to one of the Brahmins, that he reinterprets about the concept of direction in Brahmanism point of view and a Buddhist point of view, and is a way how to make an offering to God. So, all right, so now it's time. So if no question, so I'll see you next week, and you can read and take a look at the topic that we're going to be discussing next week. Okay, so now let's call it a day, and let us respect to the Triple Gem. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Apiwatemi Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami สุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆสังฆังนะมามิ Okay, see you next week, everyone. Okay, take care.
นมัสการค่ะหลวงพี่
Thank you.